All hell is breaking loose right now around the country, but we're going to specifically talk about Aurora, California. I'm sorry, Aurora, Colorado, and California. We're talking about a migrant crisis that is blowing up beyond belief. And if you are not ready to protect yourself and your family, I think that you are going to find, depending on where you live in the country, that something is going to happen really fast, almost overnight. Let me show you this video right now out of Twitter, but I want to read you a headline of something right here. It says, California governor claims that Aurora's migrant gang takeover is just imagination, despite the video and local leaders' outcry. So right now you have a governor, a seated governor that should be fired immediately in Colorado stating there's nothing wrong. Just, the table shaking bad. So here we go. Hey, just this table shaking like crazy. The governor of the state of Colorado is saying it's all made up. Regardless of what you're seeing online or what you're hearing, other leaders, mayors, and council people crying for help, the Colorado governor does not want to help his people. He should be fired immediately. And that state, I'm sorry, I've been there before, incredibly liberal. Isn't that weird? So check out this video. Sorry, you can see that I'm fired up, but when it comes to the safety of our family, type 1 if you agree. There is no price that can be put on that, and we need to be able to protect ourselves. This is why I believe in the right to bear arms. But here we go. Let's just show you this video, and this is just one. Imagine if you saw this outside on your Ring camera. Gang members that are taking over properties heavily armed. This is absolutely insane. Now check this out. There's more videos on X. And honestly, if we didn't have X right now, and I'm going to put my link down to my profile on X down below if you'd like to follow me there. If we didn't have that program, that platform right now to be able to show real things that are happening in our country, we would be in a lot more trouble than we already are, because we would have zero clue of what's going on. Now check this out right here.
Oh, me. These niggas is out here tripping. Bro, damn, they done made a mess and shit.
They're talking in this video about how Venezuelan gangs are completely taking over Aurora, Colorado. Now, let's dive into this story right here from the Daily Mail. It says, Colorado governor claims that the Aurora migrant gang takeover is just imagination. How would you like that if your city was in crisis? Gang members from other countries, migrants, are running around heavily armed, and your governor is saying it's all made up. It says Democratic Governor Jared Polis has denied that migrant gangs have taken over apartment buildings in Aurora, despite video evidence and local leaders' outcry. The heavily armed mob was seen on video storming through an apartment complex while brandishing at least one semi-automatic weapon, and a man within a hoodie and thugs with high-powered rifles and pounds on an apartment door. What you just saw in the video I showed you, there were multiple weapons, all right? So now let's dive in here to some other headlines. It says right here, sanctuary city policies push violent migrant gang into the suburbs, and they say it's a nationwide problem. This is out of Fox News. It says, although Denver suburbs don't share its sanctuary city policies, the influx of migrants into the mile-high city spilled outward. Now its neighbors are facing an unprecedented wave of activity from a notorious Venezuelan prison gang. Listen, I completely agree with the right to bear arms, and I think it is every American's duty to own a weapon to be able to protect their family. I'm not going to mix words at all. All right. I and my family are also trained in the use of tactical handguns for protection. And we've made sure that everybody understands how serious of a tool that is. And it is incredibly important that we use that. Type 3 if you agree with me. You see, the sad thing is, being an emergency responder myself for 26 years, I have seen the very horrible side. The side where something goes wrong, somebody wasn't prepared to protect themselves, and it could be as simple as someone with a bat or someone with a hammer, which is the number one weapon used in a violent crime. And what happens is somebody calls the police and the fire department, and it takes us a while to get there. And this is absolutely insane to me that we have insane and you could tell by my anger that I have been around politicians my entire life, being in emergency medicine, and I have seen horrible things happen. And we are voting people in that are ludicrous, they're insane, and they won't even take this. They say right here on this Fox News story, we currently have entire complexes, apartment complexes, under gang control. Complexes where staff have been beaten up, they've been threatened, their families have been threatened. Complexes where there are no staff left on the property. Aurora City Council member Danielle Jasinski said these complexes are being run by the Tren de la Agra gang. Now, let me explain something. I'm not joking when I say I personally believe that there is a point in time where all of these migrants that have flooded over our borders, I'm not joking, are about to do the left's bidding for them. And they are going to produce terror on a scale that is unprecedented. To say that I believe that you need, and now I want to be very careful in choosing this, but if you agree with this, say yes. The reason why you need right now some emergency food, a water filter, a tool to protect yourself, a weapon, and training right now, go out to the target range and practice buying ammo, things like that, is because, like in Aurora, there may be a time, people watch the movie The Purge and they think it's entertainment. But right now, what you're witnessing in Aurora is the news trying to keep it down. They don't want you knowing. The governor, I guarantee you, is calling and pressuring people in the media and saying, don't post this stuff. And this is why it's very important that people get this information out, because there's going to be a time where it's going to be safer to just stay in your house, stay quiet, and lay low. There are going to be cities, I believe, on fire in the next couple of years where riots are happening, crimes are happening. And if you don't have a way to protect yourself, think about that video where these gang members are just walking in with weapons. You could tell they're not trained because they're not stanced properly. They're not ready, but they're walking in. All of them have a gun. And if there is a child that cannot protect themselves, what do you think is going to happen? A family that can't protect themselves. You think those guys are just going to open the door and go, oh, sorry, we didn't know this was occupied? There are times when economies collapse. And I do honestly believe, and this isn't doom or gloom, our economy is collapsing. Our dollar is going way sideways, and it's trending in a not good pattern because the other countries are walking away from it. During times of economic collapse, things get violent. And we're seeing things right now that seem to be good, right? Most people watching this video have a job. The stock market's at all-time highs. People are going on vacations and stuff like that. Well, that's exactly like it happened right before the Great Depression, before the collapse of the Weimar Republic in Germany, before the Venezuelan hyperinflation. We have times in recent history where we see economic collapse is followed by lawlessness. And we are in at that time, I believe, right before that. And think about, the government, especially in Colorado, they're so liberal, it's insane. It's disgusting to me. I'm sorry, I have family there, but I went to a city once and I couldn't get out of there fast enough with their flags and their signs of injustice and intolerance, because they want you to be tolerant, but they're intolerant of your rights. They want to take your rights away. And governments like California are trying so hard to take your right away to going and buying a weapon right now. Think about this. You want to talk about how your vote matters? Let me throw out this idea, and type 10 if you agree. The most powerful vote you can do is go and buy and register a sidearm. Because every time that happens, the government goes and they see the data, they see the numbers, they go, whoa. Can you imagine if all of a sudden everybody in the country went out and said, I'm going to go buy a legally registered firearm, even though I disagree with how the registration process works, but Hitler created that, just so you know. Hitler was the first, type 11 if you know this to be true, Hitler was the first leader that actually had 100% gun control and gun registration laws because they wanted to track people and then figure out how to attack and hurt their people. Okay. But if everyone in this nation just went out and said, you know what, I'm going to buy a legally registered handgun, do you know what would happen? Overnight, the government would step back and go, oh, crap. They know something's up. And, you know, as much as I get brought down, and you know what? I'll show you really quick. I'm going to show you something that happened. I've never shown this. So last year, I put out a video a year ago, and I actually got a phone call from a subscriber that worked for Google. And it was a very anonymous setup, and they said, I'm a fan, but what you just did, I put out a video. They said that I had to take it down, and they said they're going to stop you. And this is what happened. This is what happened to the channel. Exactly, let me highlight this, a year ago. Let's see if I can show you this. I put out a video right here. That's the subscriber growth. This was the most watched YouTube channel in finance. This is the view growth. And right here, I put this video out and they stopped the entire channel. I'm not going to stop telling the truth. I'm going to tell it as much as I can to as many people as I can. That's why it's important. I know it sounds crazy. I have like a Facebook channel, an X channel, all these different channels to try and get this information out because they don't want this out there. But I think it's very important to have a registered firearm. I think every family should have one, and every family should be trained in how to use it and treat it as a very important tool. And it's a tool for our freedom. Right now, there are people that are being ransacked, and the media is keeping it out in Aurora, Colorado. In California, they are passing a law right now where they are going to take your taxpayer money and they're going to give or it's right here. This is out of Zero Hedge. This is federal. U.S. taxpayers paid $150 billion in 1 year for migrants. They're clothing them, giving them cell phones. And I'm going to be honest, I believe that what you're about to see, and if I say there's a movie out there and it was Fast and Furious with Vin Diesel, well, it was a lot more than a movie. It was a covert operation where people are armed. I believe that there are people being armed right now. This isn't a joke. I think it's important to have a month's worth of emergency food. I think it's important to have a water filter. I think it's important to be armed because there's a point where you don't race into the problem, because if you race into trouble, trouble's going to find you. But I think it's very important. There's going to be a day where you're just going to call work and go, I'm not going to show up to that craziness. I'm going to sit back and protect my family. And I mean, right now, your taxpayer money, federal, $150 billion doled out for government services and support to help 20 million illegals in our country. Remember, they're here illegally. Illegally. I was talking to my son earlier, and he's like, hey, I'm thinking, Dad, I'm going to go to another country and work for a little bit, but I got to apply for a visa. You see, in his mind, he's like, oh, I'm going to go to another country. I have to abide by their laws. So I have to apply to go work there for 6 months. That's what good human beings think about, right? Good men and women think about the laws like, okay, I'm gonna stand within these laws. But there's some laws that are being built on top of each other and on top of each other, and they're being built to harm you. Check out this story right here. This is out of Fox. California is close to approving $150,000 loans for illegal migrants to help purchase homes. See, they want to give you free down payments with zero interest, zero payments until you sell the house. They want to give you full-blown loans. This is taxpayer money. While you're going to work, you're slaving away, you're trying to make a living, you're saving and having a hard time saving more and more money because honestly, the government is creating inflation. They're becoming richer. The top 1% are becoming richer. They're looking to fill your house or even take it over with people that are breaking the law. If this enrages you, type 100. This is not a joke. And I ask you to type these things not only because I want you to have a voice, but you got to fire up this algorithm too. Because it's an algorithm that just wants its ears tickled. People just want their ears tickled, but things are going wrong. And you don't go buy a weapon when you need it. You don't go and buy, I don't know if you've been in California or during times where, and there's amazing patriots in California, don't get me wrong, because a lot of people, hashtag California from California. And anyone listening to this channel that says they're from California is a normal person, all right? They're not some crazy libtard. When you need to go and buy emergency food because food's going off the shelves, that's not the time. It's time to go now and buy these things because you're going to need to protect your family someday. There is a day in most people's lives that you will be called on to protect your family or what you have stored up. You see those videos of those gang members that I showed you at the beginning here, they're going to kill, steal, and destroy. Trust me, that's all they care about. They don't care about your morals. They don't care about your ethics. They're void of them. Same as the governor of Colorado. That man should be fired and imprisoned for even saying, oh, this is made up. Those are made up videos. Bull crap they are. And if you're in Colorado, I honestly feel sorry for you. But the best thing you could do right now is if you don't own a weapon, go get one, go get trained right now. Because this is going to spread like a cancer. There are millions of people illegally in our country right now being fed, clothed, and housed in some form and given a phone by our government with your taxpayer dollars. And I fear that one day there may be a text message that goes out to all of them and says, the world is yours. Go for it. Think about that. If you want to call this doom and gloom, well, I feel sorry for you because you're void of reality. But I am not going to sit and be scared of this platform or any others that censor because of what's going on in the truth. Hope you got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.